Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is One Piece Volume 41, Declaration of War by Eiichiro Oda, part of this One Piece 3-in-1. So we did 40 a while back. It's been a while, and obviously I've got to finish 41, 42, and also 43, 44, and 45 to finish this series. So we're chugging along here, getting near the end. So last we left off, Luffy was showing off his gear ability and was able to defeat Blueno back at the top of the tower here over in Anna's lobby. And here we have Luffy basically calling out Spandam, Nico Robin, Frankie, and CP9. You get typical Luffy eating meat to recover himself. Very cartoonish. So essentially, this volume is mostly about Nico Robin and her backstory and why she's acting the way that she's acting throughout this entire arc. So we're going to have a big chunk of this in the middle that's essentially going to explain Ohara and the island that she came from, and the archaeologists that were researching the Great Void in history, which is like a 100-year period in the history of the One Piece world that is basically blank. It's unknown. Nobody knows what happened those 100 years. So here you got Frankie and Robin talking to each other. You get a lot of typical manga back and forth. And Frankie is able to escape and get Robin out to talk to Luffy. And here you have Robin once again reiterating, her stance that, hey, Luffy, leave me alone. I just want to die. I don't want you guys to be here to rescue me. And here's CP9. Here's Kaku kicking Frankie into the wall right here. And here is a CP9 here to stop Luffy. Jumping to the next chapter. And you see a lot of our heroes here. Here's Yokozuna fighting against the jury. These little henchmen right here with big balls. You got Mozu and Kiwi struggling to try to get the drawbridge down for the Straw Hats. And here's Baskerville keeping Frankie's family at bay. Got Zoro kind of getting tired of all this bullshit, so he freaking cuts his way up top. So Zoro is a stereotype, or I should say an archetype character. I forget who was the first one to create this archetype. I think it was Rumiko Takahashi in Ranma 1/2, which is the character that has no sense of direction and always gets lost. So Zoro is famous or notorious in the group for always getting lost all the time, and Oda uses that to create a lot of puns and comedy within his story. So just when things are looking bad for Frankie family and Yokozuna, here comes the Giants. They've been convinced by Sniper King that they've been betrayed, which they have been, and they're about to lay the beat down on the Navy right here. Then you have Luffy replying to Robin's request to leave him alone by saying, I don't know what that is. And the rest of the Straw Hats show up to save their friend. You got great sort of counter between the two chapters there, 1 and 2. And yeah, and essentially what begins at this point is because Spandam basically threatens them with the golden transponder, which is to use the Buster Call. And then we begin the backstory. So this is Ohara, and this is Nico Robin as a young girl. And essentially, Nico is, or Robin, I should say, is very much an outsider in her village. Her mom had abandoned her at a young age, and she's kind of been living with a foster family that doesn't treat her well. But she loves going to the Tree of Knowledge because there, Professor Clover and the archaeologist teach her and let her study here, and it allows her to kind of escape her not-so-great life in the village. But they find out she's extraordinarily gifted, very intelligent little girl, and she's actually learned how to read the poneglyphs, which are essentially these big stones in the world of One Piece that contain the history of the world and, many very important historical events, weapons, all this other stuff. They also include clues to the lost 100 years, which is what both Nico Robin is after and also her mom is after, and also the archaeologists here. But the 100-year void is banned by the government, And probably because the government knows that there's some probably dirty things that went on in that 100 years. And so anyone who studies it basically gets the instant death penalty. So when she shows that she can read this stuff, they freak out and they tell her, don't do that. You know, and here's her mom, Nico Olivia. You know, and along comes this giant that washes up on the shores of Ohara, the island that she lives on. And this is the introduction of Saul, a giant, and you know, he's kind of nursed back to health by Nico. And in typical Oda character, Oda loves to have characters that have like these weird sort of either weird laughs or weird sayings or weird characteristics of their dialogue that make them stand out. Oda goes over the top when it comes to differentiating characters and giving them unique personalities that make them pop. So in the case of Saul, he has a weird way of laughing where he laughs deresh, you know, all this other stuff, which sounds weird here in English. It sounds even it sounds weird too in Japanese as well. And they become friends, and he helps, or Robin helps him out, and they work together. Meanwhile, the government arrives on the island, and what essentially happens is Saul is able to figure out that Robin is Olivia's daughter, and we find out that Saul essentially is a giant that helped Olivia escape from the Navy and the world government. Olivia arrives on the island and explains to the archaeologist that, hey, you guys got to go, the Navy's here, and they're not playing around, they're just going to kill everybody. And I'm going to jump through here a little bit more. You get the introduction of Admiral Kuzan, which, if you remember from the very beginning of this series that I did here, later he becomes, or this is Vice Admiral Kuzan, he becomes Admiral Akuji, one of the great admirals of the Navy. So I'm going to jump through right here. You get into a lot of fights, but essentially Robin eventually confronts all these people, finally meets her mom, and you kind of get here Professor Clover explaining that what the history of the world is, and also what these archaeologists have discovered. He's even talking to the world elders of the world government, and what occurs here is the world government finds out that they've learned too much, and essentially, basically sentences everybody on the island to die. So we get through a kind of a mad dash, and Robin has to run away. But before she does that, she's able to kind of spend time with her mom, and even then, she kind of lets loose to the government that she can, in fact, read the poneglyphs, which in turn kind of makes her a world criminal. And right before she escapes, see, I'm going to jump through all of this. You get the backstory of Saul and how he helped Olivia escape. Saul is able to get her on a raft and save her life. Sorry, I got to boom through this real quick. It's typical manga. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it kind of takes forever for the story to get forward. And, he gets captured by Kuzan, but he's able to kind of help Robin escape. And Robin, on her way out, is actually saved by Kuzan, who gives her a boat and a path out, but tells her and warns her, like, hey, if I were you, I would just stay low and just forget about all this stuff that you just saw. I know all your family and your home got destroyed, but, right now you're a criminal of the world government and you need to hide and everything. And this kind of explains a lot of Robin's backstory before this, from both the Alabasta arc when she was first introduced, as well as this entire arc right here, explaining, her motivations and why she has a hard time making friends with people and really trusting the Straw Hats. You got a nice... Yeah, Oda always did this. He always used to make basically these coloring pages for people, for kids to kind of pull out and do this stuff. It's a perfect example of, like, despite some of the adult themes and the adult style stories in these books, there's still the main focus in these mangas that they are targeted towards young boys and kids for the most part. So you get coloring pages right here. That's pretty fun. So now you see Nico Robin, her growing up, having people betray her all the time, escaping, and then finally teaming up with Crocodile, which is where she was first introduced to the Straw Hat Pirates many volumes ago. And then once she's done with that story, it kind of sets the premise for her explanation to the Straw Hats. Someday it will become too much of a burden. Someday you'll betray me and cast me aside. She can't trust anybody because of the life and the upbringing that she's had. And Luffy, of course, being ultimately the innocent but good guy, it's like, I totally get who Robin's enemy is. And he calls Sniper King the soap and says, shoot down that flag. Great moment here for Luffy, and they freaking smoke the world government's flag and basically declare war on the world government for their friend. And here's Luffy right here, bring it on. And he tells her, like, say you want to live, like, this is it doesn't matter what happens, we're gonna go save your life, right? This is, standard Oda, always bringing the emotion 100% in all of his books, really getting you into the story and really making you feel for these characters and want them to succeed, right? Despite the fact that they're technically scallywag pirates, right? Yeah, this is a great scene right here, both in the manga and the anime. I want to live. Take me to sea with you. And Luffy and the gang are like, let's go. And you get also, so the last chapter right here in the volume is Frankie revealing the blueprints for the Pluton, which were a big plot element several volumes ago. And now that he realizes that Robin is a good person and is not going to reveal all of those secrets to the government as long as, she's with the Straw Hats, he just straight up says, well, you know what, then we don't need this. And he freaking torches the Pluton right in front of CP9. We spent all those years trying to get it. Basically a big fuck you from Frankie to them. He also realizes all of his family's here to save him, so this typical Oda, people crying, snot coming out of the nose and everything. And the Straw Hats jump off the bridge and jump on Rocket Man, and they're on their way to rescue Robin and Frankie. And that's pretty much the volume in a nutshell. Again, I went pretty fast here, mainly because the last couple of videos that I did went on to like 20 plus minutes, which is insane. It makes it so these videos actually don't even sync up with mine anymore because it's so freaking long. So I tried to speed this one up a little bit. Sorry for those of you who wanted me to kind of slow down. I got the gist of it. Essentially, volume 41 is really about Robin's backstory and really the Straw Hat Pirates arriving to save Robin, Frankie destroying the Pluton blueprints, and really kind of build up for the eventual, conflict between the Straw Hats and CP9. So overall, just another great volume. Again, seems like the story didn't move a whole lot, but there was a ton of enjoyment in reading it. And honestly, to get all three of these volumes for, $15 MSRP, can't really complain, even if it is decompressed, right? If you're going to decompress, you better give a lot for the money. Anyhow, to the art. So I kind of decided to do that famous scene right here. So this is more in my style and probably less in Oda's style, so that technically the anatomy is a little more in line with more of a Western style anatomy here. And again, I had to actually look up reference to figure out exactly the colors of her clothing in here. I actually don't know if it's pink or maybe like a purple is her blouse here that she's wearing underneath this jacket during the arc here. But yeah, no, I wanted to go full body right here, showcase the stuff. I was kind of messing around with shading with the Copic marker. So this is actually done with the black and the all sets the cool gray to kind of create more of a lighting effect. And I think I did okay here. I mean, it's not too bad. There's some areas where I probably could do a little bit better. And maybe in hindsight, I think I want to do more bust shots to kind of work on detail a little bit more. But overall, pretty happy with it. Even did a manga balloon. So this is manga style balloons right here. Like in American comics, they rarely break out of the regular circular style balloons and then boxes, right? But this is an example of manga. They like to do these jaggedy line balloons to kind of add to the exclamation or the force of it, right? I think the Japanese are a lot more innovative than us when it comes to balloon designs, and in Western comics we still pretty much keep the same circular and boxes for captions and narration. And then for the, like, you know, 5 people left on Earth that still do them, the thought balloons being like a cloud, right? Anyhow, that's the video. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. You got any comments on One Piece Volume 41 or my art? Leave it down below, and I will see you next time.